In studio. There you are. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Blessed love. Give thanks.
How's your week been?
It's been blessed. It's been blessed. I've been working, moving, preparing for next week, Thursday. I'm so looking forward to this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So it's been a blessed week. Give thanks.
And you don't have to change your hair.
I do not.
Everything's ready up there.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Give thanks to the Most High for that one.
Yeah.
Valuable lesson. The hair stays the same.
Mm-hmm. You got, as we mentioned, many special guests out there, and it's going to be actually a cultural experience.
Yes. I give thanks for describing it as that, because that was my intention when I kind of meditated on this moment and putting it together, is that it becomes a cultural experience and an expression of my culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have something you maybe like to express to us right now culturally?
Sure. Absolutely, we'll do that.
Thank you. Q Kirk on Corby's Orbit.
Babylon burning, Babylon burning, Babylon burning, and she have no water. At a fire, consuming fire, they burn down Babylon. Time's moving and filling me with infinite possibilities. To destroy me is mission impossible. Take your knife and cut the water, you shall see me resume to my position. For your ideologies and mental bullets I shall reject. Heck, for I stand tall like the sea and see when time reverts to its original position, and I freeze, and time sees like Arctic ice. Only the Father himself can melt me. Only the Father himself can melt me. You see, Babylon burning, Babylon burning, Babylon burning, and we have no water. Do not mistake me for a puddle. We are pools of reflections. Look at we, and you shall see the past struggles, the present strives, and the future triumphs. For in your eyes we metamorph in size like the butterfly. In your eyes we metamorph in size like the butterfly. Yay. Changing body, but spirit still a fly high, like Zion. Hilltop is our resting home, guardian of all that lies beneath the sunrise as it sets under the ocean, and I fall from the clouds, drip drop, drip drop, drip drop. Me nah quench no Babylon. Give thanks.
In the middle of a cultural drought comes Q Kirk with all the water.
Bless love.
Bless on you too, my girl.
Give thanks. Give thanks.
Sitting across from you, the ex-mayor of Dubtown, currently retired chairman of the board, but back in action, Clifton Joseph.
Blessed love.
Hey, thank you, Paul Corby. You call me, and you know, anytime you call me, man, like the Jackson 5, I'll be there.
I've noticed that.
You're doing fabulous work down here at Radio Regent in the bunker.
Thank you. Yes, the former holding cells.
Excellent work, Q Kirk. Are you a singer? I don't sing, but I get away by saying I work in sound, not singing, right? So that you can't say I'm breaking notes and say it's part of the gig. But do you have some musical training?
Well, that what kind of happened actually is that I started off as a writer, as a poet, and then I took this kind of turn start to sing. So I was always in choirs and things of that nature. My mom especially really always pushed me forward to develop that art. So I fell in love with singing, but then my voice cracked and I stopped being a soprano and I was an alto, and I'm like, I can't handle it. But so the thing is I love to sing, so I express myself through song, and I always incorporated my poetry. And so when my voice cracks, I get away with it because I'm a poet.
Yeah, true. And there's some other poets I know who can sing really well. Like Motion sings extremely well. Motion. Anne-Marie Woods Amani, she sings excellent. In fact, she used to be with a group out of Halifax called For the Moment, a cappella group. Yeah. So look, Ottawa is one of my favorite towns to go to. One of my favorite clubs in the country, the Mercury Lounge at Byward Market. There, I used to go down there and play. Of course, there are cats in the scene there, Ritalin, Anthony Bansfield, John Carter, and so on. What was the scene like when you were winning them awards of 2005, 2007, the CBC Face-Off, Poetry Face-Off?
Before we even got there, it all started actually at African Palace before we even hit Mercury Lounge. So when I first came to Ottawa, I'm an artist naturally, and I just love to express myself. So I went to African Palace. They had an open mic, and I did that on stage, and Anthony came up to me and said, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I just came from Toronto. Come back again." So he told me about the slam competition they were having. So I was never a slam poet. I was just a artist and writer, and I love to write.
But the slam scene was really kicking.
It was kicking. That was the time. So I went on stage and I won that slam. It was the first slam I ever performed. And because of that, I became part of the Ottawa team to represent Canada in the National Spoken Word Olympics in Chicago at the time. So it's the North American Spoken Word Olympics in Chicago. So I was on the team, the Canadian team at the time, with Anthony and Ritalin and so forth. Unfortunately, I was also an immigrant to Canada, and it was right after 9/11, so things didn't work out for me.
Border problems?
Exactly. So Gamarmi Sido actually took my place, and Gamarmi Sido now is he was a great poet back in the day, and now is a filmmaker and so forth. So that was the crew that we started with, and after they came back, I became part of the first Spoken Word Olympics in Canada. So now it's the Canadian Festival of Spoken Word. It first started in Ottawa as the Canadian Spoken Word Olympics. And so I was on a French team with Ritalin and John Akpada and some other greats at the time. And we competed and put on the first Spoken Word Olympics in Canada.
Excellent
and then
work.
that flourished into the Canadian what is it called now? So Canadian
Festival of
Spoken Word. There you go. So that's what it's become today. It's been decades after, and during that time I was performing a lot, and that's how I ended up on CBC stage and winning that in 2005 and 2007.
Now, how did you get the name the Romantic Revolutionary?
So I actually had a poem about that because someone gave me that name. And so, because Q has always been my nickname. My full name is Quivern, so Q is, naturally a nickname. So what happened, someone said to me, I was doing a show called Spoken Word versus Hip Hop. And that was also a big thing at the time. And he said, you can't just be Q, you got to be Q something. And I said, I'm just Q. He's like, but when you're on stage, you sound so romantic. I said, I'm not saying anything romantic.
You got a voice. You got to say you got a voice, though.
So that's what he was saying. I'm just like, everything. I had a thing at the time where I wasn't doing any love poetry at all on stage, but my voice sounded very sensual and sounded so forth. And so I said, you know what? I get it. I get what you mean by that. So I accepted that name at the point in time, and I was Q, the Romantic Revolutionary, for a number of years.
Well, you see, most younger poets, I'm surprised sometimes when people say they are dub poets, because the spoken word slam poetry scene is so big, so most younger black poets identify as spoken word. So you call yourself a dub poet.
Absolutely.
Why? And what do you see the differences and similarities between the two?
So, I mean, the similarities are obvious in the sense of its performance poetry, its poetry on music, regardless. I say dub poetry and dub poet because one of my roots and my upbringing, I'm from Tobago, very rooted kind of culture. And we have our own version of dub, kaiso, and so forth, where we sing a political message over
and
music.
Rapso too, with Brother Resistance and Kariga Mandela,
of course.
all the book, all those
these these are my inspiration. These are my roots. These that's in my bloodstream. So when I also kind of went along my journey and found myself as a Rastafari, and understood the heartbeat of the drum that called to me personally. And so for me, I went back to that element, that basic element of drums and the voice, the word sound of power in that sense. And I understood dub from that kind of elemental level, which is why when I perform on stage to the community, it's really just with the drummers and myself, so we can feel the root of it. And because I see dub poetry as a root to all of these movements, because a lot of the inspiration that came to North Americans and so forth were Caribbean ones who had that same kind of foundation, and we blended with the new kind of culture that we found here today and created something new, created rap, created hip-hop, and all of these things. So I give honor to that. As a Rastafari as well, you give thanks to ones who came before you, movements that came before. So I give thanks by making sure that that's attached to my name. It's and so people could, if they've never heard the poetry before, Google it. You know,
because of course, when the credit for dub poetry is usually word, sound, power.
So
you seem to have added
power.
another element to it, a song, if you will, because that piece you did in the beginning, just the intro.
Yes,
I can actually hear the drums going,
It's
the Naya Bingi drums going right there. So like I was hearing it as if it was there.
Yes,
Explain your interaction with music, musicians, and you're working on your first album, your debut album.
Right.
Explain how you're working with the musician, because it's one thing to be musical alone. Now you got to deal with somebody else telling you what to do or having to keep up with the sounds.
Well, I'll be completely honest with you. I'm going to throw you for a loop. One thing I understand about myself is that I am an artist and I'm a poet. And as a Rastafari, I have a purpose, and my purpose is to really speak on all levels and in all forms I can. So, in saying that, I say that to say that my album is completely different from my stage. And on my stage is where we'll have the live element, and I'll work with ones like Isaacs. I love working with him.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that,
he's magnificent. That brother is just super
goodness.
lubula.
My goodness. When I work with musicians, the vibe that we usually get is they're usually surprised by my cadence, because I speak in time with the music usually. So because I write to music, and I always have music in my meditation, so we end up I create my own kind of sound with the voice, and we end up finding this really beautiful groove. So when I perform live, I mean, yes, we have the raw element of the drums, but I'll invite other artists as well, bass players and saxophone players and so forth. And we come together and we jam. It's really what it is. And we hold a vibe. And we always catch the groove and go forward from there. So, but the album I'm working on, I decided to do something different, because I really want to attract the youth to find themselves through word, if that's your purpose, because it was mine. So with this album, I decided to go more of a hip-hop modern route with it.
Okay.
And I sourced out a great young engineer. His name is Justin Limited. And he's an underground hip-hop engineer and works in ones all over Canada, North America. And I love Justin because he loves music. And, I walk into his place and there's, 45s, of Burning Spear. I'm like, what? Or, there's things that I love. And because he loves music and sound, he was the right one to really help me kind of blend this my love and my art from a dub to a new sound. So which is why you end up with something like What She's Saying. And another one that we created that I love is called Ancestors Chant, because that one blended Burning Spear, Wadada, which is one of my all-time favorite songs of all time, blended that with this new kind of funky hip-hop beat. And I was like, what is this? I love it. So that's what the album sounds like. Whenever you see Q, you don't know what you're going to get, except you're going to get word, sound, and power. I'm a Rastafari. It's my only purpose. I do it in every element, every way possible I can. So.
When what she say hits the charts, with that romantic revolutionary thing might be coming back again.
I like that.
Where do you see the spoken word and the hip hop and poetry scene going? Because it seems to me over the years it's just gotten wider and wider and wider. So now it's more possible to do more things, to go more things. So what do you plan? Where do you see the scene going, and where do you yourself aim to go?
So where I see the scene going, if there's one thing I've learned in life through work and just experience, is that one thing that's constant is change. And if we're seeing years of growth of the same, there's time for change. And I see the youth doing something different with this movement. You know what I mean? I see them growing into something unknown, but something I will love because it has the basic elements of word, sound, and power. The reason why You Heard Me is called the Poetry, Art, and Expression concert is because that art of expression leaves it open to any and everything possible, so however you express yourself, you can. So I see this movement growing, continuing to grow and change and evolve in something that we have yet to see, So what I'm doing with You Heard Me as well is actually raising funds to support Malvern Rec Center. They have a beautiful space there called The Spot. And I want to, my intention is to go forward to the space and teach this word, sound, and power, and to teach this the poetry workshop, really in hopes that we inspire the youths to do something different.
As the date approaches, we should all be aware that it's this Thursday we're talking about, August the 25th.
Yes, at the Oasis Banquet Hall.
Cusis. That's a Q there.
Oh, you see, I thought it was a typo. Man.
No.
It's at 3474 Kingston Road East. There's free parking. You can call 265-3030 for more information. It's next Thursday. And of course, Mishi Me, an icon here locally.
Oh, my goodness.
Hip-hop and all kinds of things. Mishi Me is going to be there, too.
Yeah, Mishi Me, the art of expression for me. She was the first one to blend her culture of dancehall to hip hop, and that inspired me to do my thing. So I want to give thanks to her and show the world Mishi Me and continue the inspiration.
Are you performing solo that night, or you got a drummer or anything with you?
Absolutely. So we have the drummer with me as well. I have actually the Toronto Heritage Drummers will be coming forward to the event. Toronto Heritage Drummers is a group of Rastafari and First Nation drummers from the community, and they come together and put together these unique performances, blending of this article kind of culture. So they'll be there as well. And I also have Jackie DeTuit, and Jackie DeTuit is the 8th generation South African storyteller. She's one of the most beautiful souls I've ever met, and she's the element and essence of dub, blending her storytelling to sound, and creates a beautiful sound with her voice as well. So bringing forward that to the community.
Wow. So heavy evening, Paul. Are you going, Corby?
I'm going to be there, man. That's my part of town.
You're orbiting the East End, yeah.
I'm already there, man.
I got to get my passport for that one, but
I can show you the way. So, not to take away from that event, you are at Rastafest this weekend as well.
I am at Rastafest.
We should mention that.
Nice.
Yes.
Sonny Osborne is headline that.
Yes.
Wow, yeah, bumpy back.
Yes.
And Clifton, I know you'll agree that, when Allen Ginsberg got up on stage and ranted away with that style he took from a French Canadian named Jack Kerouac in the mid-'50s, that was a big deal. And then 30 years later, up rises Linton Kwesi Johnson, you, Devin Houghton, Lillian Allen.
And don't forget the Okunara, his reflections in red and no peace, no justice. He just re-released that.
Yeah.
That was done 37 years ago.
Wow.
And now here it is 30 years later.
Yep, time goes on, and here's
Another wave.
Here's the Q, the revolutionary.
It'll rise up again. Yes. Thank you so much, Q, for dropping down.
Oh, well, give thanks.
Excellent.
And Clifton, like the Jackson 5 say, I
I'll
want
be
you
there.
back.
You want me back?
Yes.
There's a song like that. Yeah.
Alrighty.
It's always wonderful here at Corby's Orbit in the basement of the bunker. Anytime you want me, but let me know.
Okay, bless everyone.
Okay, cool.
Corby out. We got a big show coming up at the Jazz Bistro this Sunday night. A woman named Eliza Pope is going to sing the music of Nina Simone. Maybe she'll do this one here. Stay tuned for Ruben Beny Esguerra. Did I say it okay? Glad to see you.
Glad to see you too. It's beautiful to be here finally. I've heard a lot about Radio Regent, and I came down, and it's amazing. And then hearing the story behind it is really inspiring.
Yeah, don't be a stranger. Now you know where we are.
Definitely, I'll be here whenever you ask.
Okay, it's a deal. Once the CD comes out, we'll be looking for you again.
Great,
because I'm sure things are going to blow up big for you. You've got the whole weight of another cultural experience coming from revolutionary Colombia and bringing the values up here and putting it first to work on the streets with young people, and now you're bringing it into the music again.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good work. You play a lot of the instruments?
Yep. Most of the album was recorded by Luis Orbegoso, who's the producer, and myself. And then we had some guest artists come in, such as Adam Solomon, who's a Kenyan guitarist. We had C Swift on turntables. We had Josh Cohen on bass. So these are, amazing musicians who also put in some flavor into the music. But mostly most of the instruments were recorded by myself and Luis Orbegoso.
And there's so much joy and there's so much fierceness in the music too.
Thank you.
You never lay back. Well, maybe La Vida's a bit laid back, but you have a very beautiful instrument there with you. What's that called?
So this instrument, the original name is Kwisi Bunsi, and it means female flute in Kogi. The Kogi it's a nation, indigenous nation from Colombia, in the world's tallest coastal mountain, which is called Sierra Nevada. And it's in the coast, in the Caribbean coast, but it's so tall that it's a snow-capped mountain. And up there, the Kogi, as well as another 4 different nations, live up there. And they were the first ones to play this instrument, which according to archaeologists is older than 2,000 years old, made out of wax with ground charcoal. The mouthpiece is the quill of a duck's feather. The body is a cactus. So it's an ancestral instrument that is the inspiration behind the album. That's why the album is called Return of the Kwisi, paying homage to all the ancestral music from Colombia, and giving it new life, giving it new flavor with all the influences that I'm surrounded by, which is urban music, African music, etc.
It's amazing the variety of music that you have on here. You just never let up. It's one thing after another.
Thank you.
And you've got the modern sound in it too.
Yeah.
And when September begins, you're going to unleash it on the world over
right.
at Lula.
Yeah, and it's actually the 4th anniversary of the first CD release. In 2012, we released the first CD on the same weekend, and it was a complete success. We kicked off the Labor Day weekend with that party, and it was great. So we're trying to meet the cycle again and recreate the same experience.
Great. Good things come in circles, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Would you favor us with a little bit of the sound of the Kwisi right
Sure,
now?
sure.
Special event. That's the first time we've had a Kwisi played in this studio. So, very exciting show. Then it's going to have. Are you going to have Adam and some of the people who are on the record?
Yeah, it's over 16 artists are going to be a part of the show.
Wow.
So the band is made up of Luis Orbegoso, who is a very talented musician, producer.
I hear his name everywhere.
Yeah, he's just, especially in the Latin music scene and world music scene, he's definitely well recognized. We have C Swift, Jorge Cantor. C Swift is my brother. He's also a b-boy. He's also the person that designed the flyer. He's basically like
skills galore.
Yeah, and he's the person that supported me so much behind this, even doing videos and all of that. So I'm so thankful that he's going to be there. And Jorge Cantor is actually my student. I've been teaching him since he was about 9 years old, and now he's a man, and he's going to be dancing as well. He's a great dancer. He's going to be dancing with Melissa Noventa, who's also a recognized dancer. We have Raimundo Sosa, Ernesto Espinosa. These are legends in the Latin music scene. We have Rosary Spence as a special guest. She actually recorded The Condor and Eagle, which is a tune that I have there. And she's a Cree vocalist who's going to, just bless us with and bring us back to Turtle Island, because that's also a big concept of the album, is bringing the North and the South together. We have other special guests from the youth studio where I work at in Jane and Finch, called Rhyme and Reason. It's part of the Peach organization.
Very good work.
And so we have some MCs that are going to join us on stage as well. We have live painting by Millie Carranza, my wife. My kids are also going to be dancing. My mom's going to be dancing. So it's a whole family thing. It's all love, and that's how we did the first.
The love is what holds it together. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. My family is so supportive, so I'm so happy. We also have DJ DTS from the Master Plan Show, which is the longest hip hop radio program in North America. Master Plan Show is on Saturdays from 8 to 10, and he's going to be DJing. We have hosts Faya Brusha, who's an amazing graffiti artist, recognized internationally. She's also in theater, so she's going to be presenting the event. As well as Ilian Burbano, who's a great friend, DJ, and activist in the city. So it's gonna be a show to remember, definitely.
Full of surprises.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's only one way to find out, people. Go down to Lula Lounge, first day of September. Day you change the calendar. Don't forget, that's the day.
That's right.
Okay, and you'll be amazed at the quality of the music that's coming out. How are you going to, can I ask you a business question?
Yes.
How are you planning on marketing this? Are you pushing it towards in any direction? Or are you going to try on hip-hop radio?
Well, yeah, I want to thank Sarah Devon Gardner, who's been helping me with the publicity. And we are, I've done some interviews at CIUT, coming here. We're, putting it out to all our contacts. Now Magazine has listed it already.
Good for them.
We're putting it on blogs, and just getting the community who's has been behind us for all these years to come out.
And you've got a few videos online already.
That's right.
And more to come, I assume.
That's right. And you can find all the information at my website. It's newtraditionmusic.com. All one word, newtraditionmusic.com. And also Instagram is New Tradition Music. On Facebook, we're New Tradition Music. So, even just Google us, New Tradition Music.
Yeah, because that's exactly what it is. Toronto's moving into the future, and we need new traditions because some of the old ones are past reviving.
The whole idea is to continue with the good and leave the bad behind, right?
Truly.
And that's the concept, and that's what is the continuous concept behind Volume 1 and Volume 2. It's the dichotomy between the traditional and the new, and always in constant dialogue. So we do that through the lyrics, we do that through the music, we do that through the way we live.
Right.
And that's the movement, New Tradition Music.
What's good in the past will bounce right back into the future, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm going to play that tune.
Yes.
Can't thank you enough for coming down. Magnificent music.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope to see you again.
Yep. Well, you're going to see me September 1st, believe me.
Yes, sir.
Carry on.